Hi, I'm Meredith with Living Your Awesome. Today I wanted to talk to you about feelings. Not just feelings, but really, what are they? I bet you've never really thought about that before because we just have them, and of course we have them, and what would we do without them? They just come up and we feel what we feel. Well, is that really true? So I invite you to think about, do you have feelings that just come up, or do you actually have control of them? So have you ever thought about what it is to be overwhelmed, happy, jubilant, scared, sad, depressed? Where does that come from? And are feelings you? I'm inviting you to start to imagine that feelings are actually not you. They are something that your body uses as a survival skill. I think we have feelings partially from genetics, from that they are even taught by society, taught by our family. We grow up in families where one family has humor in a certain sort of way, and another family has humor in a different way. So humor can even be taught, sadness can be taught, happiness can be taught. I think there are some innate things, of course, when you see something that just speaks to you, you just feel that overwhelming sense of compassion and beauty. I think we think feelings are just automatic, but I want to invite you to imagine an experience that you previously found stressful when you're maybe 3 or 4 years old, that now as an adult, you're not feeling stress about. Maybe it was a sibling fight, or maybe it was tripping on a step, whatever it was. Imagine the difference that you feel now when you were in that experience when you were really little, and maybe now looking back at it as an adult, because you have new skills, you have new resources, and you can look at it differently. So what has shifted? The situation and the experience didn't necessarily shift, but you shifted. So if you can actually shift, then maybe feelings are taught. Maybe they're malleable. Maybe what's going on inside ourselves can actually shift and change. And if that is possible, then we can go into our past and change actually how we feel about them. Won't change the experience per se, the actions that happened, but we can shift and feel better and not so traumatized or horrified at what has happened to us in the past. So I invite you to think about a situation that you wish you may have done differently, or acted or reacted differently. So I want you to imagine that experience and relive that for a moment. And then now what I would like you to imagine is having that experience out there in front of you, 2 feet. And I want you to pop out of that experience and then almost step outside of that bubble and walk around it and look at you who was having that experience then. And you are looking at the actions and the feelings and the thoughts and the behaviors, and look at and experience it from out there. It is out in front of you, but you are looking at it and experiencing it a little bit more objectively. Wow. Now let's look at, what resources do you want to have that person over there having? What do you want that person to feel in that experience? What things can you bring to that person? Now what I would like you to do is load it up into yourself until you, just before you crest having that experience and all those resources, and then pop back into that experience, run it from the beginning. And what is shifting is you now with those resources, having that same experience, having those same actions, but you're thinking and feeling just a little bit differently. Now, if we can change that little experience and bring those resources into our past and have the same experience, but think, feel a little differently, then we can control our feelings. We can control our thoughts. And how amazing if we can do that. Because if we can do that, which I know we can, then we can go over and offer new resources to our traumatic pasts. And we can think and feel and perhaps even do differently and have more ease and have more feelings of calmness and control within ourselves. We can never control the outside world, but we can control and bring new things into our past so we can experience the future a little bit differently. So I invite you to step into next week and next month or next year. How do you want to feel? How do you want to think and do things a little differently that maybe you can't feel now and do now? When we can manipulate our brains and our thoughts and our feelings, which are not us, when we can do that, then we can shift how we operate in the world. We're more powerful, we're more centered, we're more grounded. We're not bringing all that baggage from the past. We're able to leave the past there. We can be more present. And when we're more present and we don't have all those preconceived notions and all those survival skills, surviving and not being overwhelmed and all those things, when we are surviving the world, we cannot thrive in the world. Our brain is too overloaded with doing all these things and thinking all these things and all this stuff. So when we can be able to manipulate and calm ourselves down, offer new resources, when we can do those things, then we don't need to bring all those thoughts and feelings from the past. We can leave them there. Then our brain can operate more in the present. We don't need to survive things anymore because we have already helped the past. When helping the past, we can leave the past behind. We can still acknowledge that it happened,